What's up? Hey, today we are making memorial. We're doing the big old 2.5 inch globe today. So this will be the epitome of big. This is a big old chunky marble. What's up, Red Squeak? How you doing? Tone, what's up? How you doing? Good evening. Welcome in, TikTok crew. What's up, TikTok? Good to see everyone. Welcome into the YouTube channel, my tubers, my talkers and my tubers. Tube talk. Okay, we're going to set that one off to the side. We're going to start off with our little cobalt here. And we're going to blend this cobalt right in. This memorial is going to be cobalt and yellow. And we always have the white accent to it. So it's cobalt and yellow. And that is the primary two colors. The white is always the ash or the cremains. And that is going to be the wonderful color that we're working with tonight. And then later in the evening, I think we're going to approach a couple different ways. We're either going to do a uranium glass build with stuff, 1940s uranium again, or I'm going to do a remix. So we'll take some previously made items and actually remix them into different items because they did not sell. Okay, how do I want to approach this? Let's do it this way first. I got a little stubby here. I know I just cut a stubby rod. There we go. All right, it's going to be hot as hell right now. We're going to be running a frickin' inferno. Because I have to use this big ass flame. And here we go. So this is going to take a few minutes to build this big old ball up and clear. And this is exactly why I use liquid oxygen, because this is consuming a tremendous amount of gas. This is the bad boy that burns up a lot of gas right here. We are cooking through it. Now, if I was running this flame all day, I would probably go through an easy 5-gallon tank. Normally, when I say it's about 1.5 gallons a day, if I was cooking this all day, I'd go through a 5. Very easy. This flame just eats up the gas. And here we go. So we're making memorial marble. I have the ash. This is of a dog. The two colors are going to be primarily cobalt and yellow. And then we always have the white where we incorporate the ash in with the white. And we're going to blend all that in. So right now I am having to build up the bulk to gather. This is a large, bulky, chunky section of clear. And then we're going to add our accent colors after this with the cremains. Now, a lot of people ask, why don't I do this whole thing out of color? And there's a very, very good reason for that. The reason I'm not making this out of full color, if I made this out of, say, cobalt, my cobalt that I have right now, in a 8 to 10 millimeter rod, you can see it's cobalt blue, and it's very transparent. When you bulk it up into a 2.5-inch ball, you can't see through it anymore. It literally becomes black, so you can't see the colors. And honestly, in my opinion, most of the marbles I like making, they should show some form of clear, like even a clear window. I don't like full color. And then tonight I got my Meta Ray-Bans back on. We're going to go ahead and take the Meta Ray-Bans and start recording first-person view again. And we're going to bring this down and get a few action shots, a few 3-minute videos, like right now. Hey, Meta, record. So right now I am recording with the Meta glasses through a POV view. Allows me to record like exactly what I see since the glasses are right on my big noggin here. And we're going to do a series of them tonight, and then I'm going to put a full video together. All right, we're still building bulk. This is going to take a minute. Now, I got to explain the difference between soft glass and borosilicate at this point. If this was all soft glass, meaning the glass that comes out of the big furnace, the big chunky blowhole, I shouldn't say blowhole, glory hole, I shouldn't say that either. The big furnace. If I was pulling that out of here, this would already be melted. We'd have a big bulk built already. But this particular glass takes about twice the heat in order to get it melty like this. So we're running double the temperatures, which means I got to get this built up roughly at about 3,000 degrees. Now the soft glass, I think it's running about 2,000 to 2,100 degrees. It's not quite double, but 1,000 degrees is a lot. All right, we're almost there. We're getting there. I got about another inch to put on here. I must love you guys because I'm using the big old flame here, trying to speed it up. This part's kind of the boring section. But we're almost done, so the boring part's almost done. So we have a choice tonight for the second stream at 6 o'clock. Do you guys want to do a remix where I take items that I previously made and we remix them into another item? Or do you want to build the 1940s uranium glass? Doesn't matter to me either way. You guys can choose whichever way you want to go. The 1940s uranium or the remix. So like, I'll show you what I'm going to propose for one of the remixes here. All right, we're almost done here. I almost got enough on. We're pretty close here. Thank you for the star jewels. What's up? Amanda, how are you? Definitely a remix? Yeah, I'll show you one of the items I'm planning on remixing because nobody bought it. It's one of the gigantic, oversized, obnoxious pens. And it's got a big old rose on it. And it's a big rose. So I was thinking about taking that rose off and transforming it into something with a sculpture. All right, we're pretty much done here. We got a big old section of clear gathered up now. We're looking good. Now I'm going to slowly start pulling this off. I can finally pull this flame down a little. This does take its toll on your shoulders after a while. This is holding up. I think these rods are about 6 or 7 pounds. And notice I haven't put it down once. So we've been streaming for 10 minutes and I have not set this down. So if you want to see what this is like, take a 6-pound, 2 soup cans even, hold it straight out for 10 minutes. And that's kind of what I go through. All right, we're tapering it down a little bit more now. Here we go. There we go. We're good. Yeah, you know, I was saying it yesterday. I think this I think this oxygen tank, the liquid oxygen I got, is a little more pure than normal. This flame is burning really freaking hot. Who sent that? Audrey, thank you so much for the super chat. Hello, how are you? Thank you for that super chat. Thank you for sending it. I can definitely see text when the super chats come through. It like highlights it. Okay, so now we got this big bulk here. And we're going to let it settle for a second. And I'll show you an interesting part about this. We're going to bring it out here. So that little clear section, you can see the top part is red, it's glowing red, but the clear section looks cold, right? That is still probably 15 to 1800 degrees Fahrenheit right there at the back, right where that rod's attached. The top part's still 2000 plus. That's hot. Okay, let's go ahead and gather. Oh, that's going to be a little short. I can't use that. All right, we're going to go ahead and attach a smaller rod here. And then I got to smooth out this little end. Before I start adding any color, I want to make sure the whole thing is smoothed out. All right, so we got that one done. We just got to let it cool for a second. It's very pliable. And it will still bend, but I can control it now. Then we're going to trim this side off. Now taking this larger rod off is going to lighten the load a little bit on my shoulders. And that is exactly what I want at the moment. What's up? Oh, that's right. We got Gail's happy birthday. We'll be doing that tonight too. Except I can't use that as a title anymore. I can't do the birthdays anymore. Unfortunately. But I can definitely mention it in the stream when we start the stream tonight. So 6 o'clock, we'll be streaming and we will make Gail's birthday cake. Happy birthday, by the way. Yeah, we're going to do remix. So this is one of the items I'm going to remix. This is the obnoxious pen. But check out the size of that rose. Nobody was interested in purchasing this pen. So I'm going to go ahead and rip that rose off there, and we're going to remix it. Okay, we're good. Doesn't that kind of look like a crystal wand already? Doesn't it look like a little wand or a cane? Okay, here we go. So the very first part we're going to do is we're going to start adding the cremains, which are located in here. I can bring the side cam over now. I do like this method. Oh, I should probably hit the side camera though. There we are. So this is side cam. There are the cremains right there. That is the ash from the dog. Okay, there's the cremains. And we're going to go ahead and use that. Let me go ahead and zoom back out. Now, these cremains are different than normal cremation cremains. These are done with aqua, meaning water. So when I start to add the cremains in here, you're going to see a fire come out of this dish. It's not unusual. It's just different. So the aqua cremains are totally different than like a normal cremation. So we're going to go ahead and start adding a white bead on here, creating my outline. Then we're going to start dipping it. See the fire? I don't know if you guys catch that. And I'm going to strategically start placing these in here. Let me see if I can bring the camera over. I don't know if I can get it to stay. I'm going to see if I can get this camera just to stay for a minute so you guys can see that action. Uh-oh. I'll bring it right about there. Nope, right there. Helps if I have my rod, though. So there's the cremains in here. You're going to see a little fire coming out of that. And this is because of the aqua version. You can see that fire happening. I'm going to do it one more time here. See the fire igniting in there? And one more time. And I'm just strategically placing these in here. I got to tell you, first time I got aqua cremation and that was lighting up like that, it freaked me the heck out. I was like, what the heck is going on there? Okay, a couple more. We got 2 to 3 more little sections here and we're good to go. And that should be enough. Okay, we're going to move the cremains way far out of the way, put our camera back in its primary location. There we go. Oh, I hit it perfect. And there we go. So now everywhere the little white lines are right there, there is ash embedded in each one of those white lines. So I strategically spread it around and placed it in various spots, trying not to clump it all into one section. So we're going to create our second outline right now. Bring it down there. Then we're going to come in and fill in some of those gaps. Now, one of the things I don't do is I don't make it completely solid. And I'll show you why in just a little bit. I'm not adding full color to the whole thing. We're going to leave a little bit of gap in here. Like that. And we have one little correction I have to do on here. This happens all the time. And since it's early in the stage, I'll show you. So see that little crack down there at the holding rod, right below the main part, that little crack? I'm going to have to seal that up before we get too far. If it gets out of hand, that will make the whole thing fall off. And that's bad news. So we're going to attach a little punty here and get that sealed up. It doesn't happen every time, but when it does, if it's this early in the game, I should fix it. It won't affect any visuals on the item itself. because that will never enter the item, but it just takes the potential for it to fall off. All right, we're going to go ahead and build this up a little. I think it's been a couple months since I've made the bigger 2.5-inch marble with the cremains, the memorials. I think it's been a couple months. I think the last big memorial I did was for a red squeak. And that was the flower. All right, we're going to separate this. Pull it off. Then we're going to clean up that end. I hope I have. Yep, that's what I need right here. I got a little water on my rod. I cleaned up my bench and I spilled water all over the place. That'll vaporize off pretty damn fast. You can see little water droplets. That won't last. There we go. That's going to disappear quick. Okay, let's bring it over to the side so you can see the before and after. So there we are. 90% of those lines in there have the cremains or the ash embedded into it. And we're going to go ahead and start blending it all together. Let me find an appropriate rod to do this with. And we're going to use a little 4mm off first. Oh, don't need that flame. So the main thing is I kind of want to spread this around and create same thing I do with the finger painting, like with multiple colors. I'm just going to be doing this with the cremains. So we're just going to come in and spread it all around, blending everything together, distributing the cremains and the ash all over the place in a unique artsy pattern. Let me get a little bit more done and I'll show you what it looks like. Yeah, I'm not doing these 2.5-inch marbles like all the time anymore. I got really, I got frustrated going through Etsy on it because I had some scammers that learned a trick that you could apply for a refund. And the problem is, I'm doing good, Ray. How are you? The problem is, I can't take a return on a memorial, obviously, because it contains cremains. So there was a loophole in there that said, if you want a refund, I had to let the customer keep the item. And so I got burned. So no longer doing that on Etsy. I'll do it on my website. But I'm very picky about who I'll even take as a customer on this anymore. I am not just randomly accepting commissions. I am not just randomly doing that anymore. Not when that type of stuff happens. Okay, let's bring it out. You can see what we did here. So we transformed it into the little bit of that pattern right there. Now, one of the little tips and tricks here, I'm going to grab a little bit of this electrum and we're going to give it a little punch of color. Actually, I want to show you this before we go too far. So take a look. Okay, pure white with a little bit of clear running through it. And then I'm going to show you how little color we're going to add on here. like that. So we're adding just these little dots, okay? Pay attention to it. So we just added a few little dots on there. Now, when I start spreading the color around again, watch how much it changes. So we're going to use white again on top of it. This is one of those colors you can dilute down by a lot. It will go a very long way. So some colors are very dense and some are very transparent. The transparent ones I couldn't do that with. But the dense ones, I can put little dots on there and spread it out. And it will spread throughout the whole piece. And add a little flavor on here. Okay, almost done here. So again, this part right here does contain the ash or cremains in here. Make sure we got a little bit of a big streak up here. Let's get it toned down just a little. Good news is I took an order today for a memorial that we're going to be doing in a heart shape. Not tonight. Well, maybe late tonight. And this heart memorial is going to be one of my favorite designs that I make. But it's a local customer that has returned for, unfortunately, her second dog that passed away. I did her other dog, Scooby-Doo, about 2 years ago. Okay, we got a beautiful selection in here. So this will hopefully, visually, you guys can see it. It has a marbling effect. So it looks like white marble, a little bit of some streaks running through there with a little white marble. Let's see if the lighting will actually pick it up. No, that's a little bright. But there's a little bit some dark streaks in there that are going to transform it into a marble, except for that dot right there. See that dot sticking out like a sore thumb? We're going to get rid of that. Yeah, it looks just like marble. And then we're going to take a larger rod and we're just going to do one final push blend on it. You can see my water dripping in there. Look at all that water hanging. Now that water is going to disappear super fast. It ain't going to last. We're just going to do one more pass over this. A little fuzz nut on there. I can set that down for a second. Got a little fuzz nut on there. I don't know what that was. Take that fuzzy end off there. All right, one last little pass. And this is going to kind of add a little bit of a three-dimensional look. I don't want to encase the whole thing in clear. Just a little bit. I got to break up this hard line right there. A little bit there. Oh, that big chunky that I fixed earlier just cracked again. So I'll fix it up before we go too far. All right, so we got another crack running through here. The glass cooled off quite a bit on the bottom compared to the middle. So it created another elevation crack right there. You can see it right in that bigger chunky section right there, that little in between the rod and the marble, that little crack right there especially. So we're going to go ahead and seal that back up. I just got to make sure we have a good stabilized rod right here before I fix that. There we go. I'll tell you, one of the first things that if you ever start doing these big marbles and you're a glass blower and you haven't done them before, when those holding rods crack, they definitely freak you the heck out. They will definitely give you the EBGBs. I'm going to pull that down a little. There we go. All right, we're all sealed up again. Now I'm trying to leave a little bit of a, kind of like a little marble on top of the marble there. And the purpose of that is to keep it a little hotter than just like the regular rod. It's going to retain a little more heat being a little thicker. If I do continue to have it crack, I'll go back to the large holding rod, the much thicker one. We're going to go ahead and separate this, and we're going to start applying the blue and the yellow. And there we are. We're going to take that off. We're going to separate it. And we're looking good. I think we're okay here. So before we go any further, there it is. So this section contains all the cremains. That has all the ash in it right there. From the reverse side, you can kind of see it floating around in there through the opposite window. And that's another reason I like to leave some clear. All right, first things first, we're going to take a smaller blue rod. We're going to create a definitive line here. We're going to take our cobalt. We're going to go right over that white just by a little bit. Not right next to it, right on top of it. That way there is no clear gaps in between. Blend that in. Wow, we still got a little bit of a clear gap right there. I'll show you. So this is what I want to avoid. We'll fix it. But you're going to see a little, right in the middle, right there, you're going to see a little clear gap. Two little spaces between the white and the blue. that will end up messing the whole piece up. So we're going to go over and fix that up a little. But even that little bit will throw the whole piece off. Melt that in. And we should be all, you're going to see a little gap up there, but that's not the same. There's definitely white over that. So now we're all blended right there. That little spot right there, that's not going to matter. But the rest of it is all covered up. Okay, we're going to start adding another little section here. This is going to be my second template. This is my guide point. Like that. So this gives me my outline, kind of like a coloring book, drawing between the lines. So we'll fill the gap in between there with all blue, and we'll get it all filled in. Let's go ahead and grab a thicker blue rod, which I pulled a little earlier. We're going to start layering this down. Actually, I should probably use the close-up view. We're not going to be going to the marble for a while, the mold. We'll do a close-up. So we start out here and we just layer it down. Again, pushing the object through the flame, not the color rod through the flame. The color rod stays stationary. The object is moving. There we go. We're just filling in the gaps now. Here we go. We're covering up the last little section. And we're going to melt this in. Melt it up here. So now we got blue on there like that. Now the drawback of this, look how transparent that blue is. It's barely blue. And this is what I was talking about, transition of color. Look how thick the rod is right here. And you can see the blue color variation. Same color, just one distributed on clear and one solid. And that's what I was referring to. If I did the whole thing out of solid blue and then added color, it would be almost black. So we're going to layer down some more blue, and then we're going to add a little bit of black to this, or another blue, a dark, dark blue, and then we're going to blend it just like we did the white. Blend that in, and we're going to bring it back over and do the same exact thing. Burn that in. So we'll bring it back out. You're going to see two different blues in there now, where we got the double layer versus the thin. You see it got a little bit darker in there. Let me see if I got a nice blue that I want to use here. Nope. Maybe. Just looking for the right one, the right winner here. Oh, here's my winner. So now we're going to take this little tiny bit of dark, dark, opaque blue, and we're going to fill in the gaps in between those little gaps right in there. We're going to add little streaks to it. This is going to give it a secondary color of blue. Bring it back out. Back down here. Yeah, we'll go one more here. We should be good. So we're going to pop it back out into its normal side view. So now you can see definitely the dark and light blue streaking down there. And we're going to blend it just like we did the white. We're going to go ahead and start finger painting that up. Actually, we can go close up on this. Let's go ahead and get that done. Do I have blue? Yep, we got blue. We're going to go ahead and start that transition right now. How's everybody doing? Anybody in Tornado Alley? I hope you're safe if you are. I saw an area got hit with some tornadoes. I've never been through a tornado. I've been through probably 30 or 40 hurricanes, but at least you could see the hurricane coming. But I thought it was a little late in the season for a tornado buzzing through. All right, we're going to bring it over here and do the same thing. But if you are in Tornado Alley or you're in threat of it, I am sending good vibes your way. All right, we got to bring it down here. And then one more little section right here. Then after this, we're doing my least favorite color, the yellow. Yeah. Not, I love the yellow. I just don't like working it. Yellow and orange are my two least favorite colors to mess around with. They're like that relative that only likes one type of food and you can't like trick them into wanting to eat anything else. That's like yellow and orange. It only likes to be worked one way. Can't figure it out any other way. Okay, so a couple little things for my glass people on here. If you're not a glass person, bear with me, it won't take long. But see that little nub right there, that big old chunk of blue? Cannot leave that in place. Notice I blended the white down there, but that blue is just chunky monkey right there. So we're going to go through and fix that up. But notice the blue now has these dark and light paths running through it. And that was the goal. Yep, close up. We're going to get rid of that chunky monkey up here. Of course, we got to do it with a small flame. There we go. And there we are. So now we got all the color running through there. You were born during a tornado? No way. Were you really, Dragonfly? No wonder you can like outpace many people. You got like whirlwind in you. You got whirlwind power. All right, there's the blue from the opposite side, and then there's the white. Now this white section does have the ash or cremains in it. Next step, we're going to add the yellow. Let's go ahead and do the yellow. I don't want to do this. I don't like yellow. Watch it pop. It's going to pop. Oh, not too bad. A little bit. Little lighter flame here. So this is part of the reason I don't like the yellow is you have to use such a soft flame. And just like we did the blue over the white, we're going to go yellow over the blue, creating our outline. And this is a memorial with dog's ashes or ash. I know I got a couple school teachers in here. Is it ashes or ash? Is it plural? I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's plural or singular, ash or ashes. I don't know the right way to say that. I did take English. All right, we're going to go ahead and create the second yellow outline here. Now, unfortunately, I don't have this in a thicker rod, so I can't really like get it done pretty fast. I got to take my time with these little skinny rods. Okay. Now we got our outline for the yellow. Okay, so the yellow is going to go in between there. I know it looks orange. We got our blue and our white that contains the ash. And then once I get done with that white or the yellow there, that's going to leave a clear gap. That's going to allow the thing to still look like a clearish marble. So that's going to preserve some of that glass effect to it. And here we go. We're going to start laying it down. And then we will mix this up as well with some clear rod to kind of blend it so it doesn't look like a bunch of streaky white and blue color and then this hard line yellow. We'll give it a little bit of finger paint action. But I am way far from the foot. Normally I'm working in this zone. I'm up here right now because I'm trying to keep the temperature down a little bit. The difference between where I'm at right now and bringing it down here is literally about 500 degrees. Just a couple inches up or down changes that temperature by 500 degrees in the flame. It's mostly how this torch is built. So unlike a normal welding torch where the gases are mixing inside the chamber of the torch, the handle, these gases don't converge until they're exiting the tip of the torch, the front face. Everything is separate all the way up to this point. And this is what's called the surface mix. The welding torch is a premix. One more little section here. Here we go. So the next step is we're definitely going to have to blend that, and I'll show you exactly why. So here we are. We got the white. You can see it's all kind of muted and blended together, a little often, mixture of shades. The blue is definitely shaded. And then the yellow would just be this, like you took a crayon to it with streaky lines running down. I don't want that. So we're going to take a thin rod again. We're going to blend all that together, kind of streaking it around. And then we should be good to go. Forgot the camera view. There. I'm getting better. I remember to do that. So just adding a little bit of clear to this is going to create that mosaic finger painting effect. It'll redistribute the colors really nice. All right, let me get one more little section and I'll show you the difference. Especially if you're just joining in, you miss the fun part, which is the beginning, and then we do the second fun part very soon here. So all I'm doing here is redistributing the pattern. So instead of straight lines running down, kind of create like a little fire smoke with it. It kind of looks like a fire. It definitely has that look to it. So you can see, well, I definitely need a flashlight. So you can see where I redistributed it, right? Doesn't that look like fire, like the surface of the sun? And then there's the straight rods. So I don't like that look. I love that look. Not that. There, yes. There, no. I don't like that straight line look to it. Some people do, I do not. So yeah, tonight at the 6 o'clock stream, we'll be doing Gail's birthday cake. I have a great idea for it. Every birthday cake I do for members and subscribers on TikTok, members on YouTube. I try to make each one independently different. Even in the same color schemes, I try to make it just slightly different. But I should probably just announce it now. I'm probably going to have to grandfather people into the birthday cakes. I think starting next month, I'm going to have to, if you've already been a member and you're in the queue for birthday cakes, you'll be grandfathered in. And the next batch of people that are going to be doing that, I'm going to have to do something with shipping, at least charge on shipping. All right, let me get this melted in here because we're starting to build up a big arsenal and shipping is getting expensive and I'm already paying for the glass. But there we go. You can see that little firebrand and then there's that little nugget again that I have to remove and smooth out. But look at the blue through the back end. It's just so freaking cool. So let's see if we can get that firebrand look. Doesn't it look like the sun, the surface of the sun? I love that look when the yellow is doing its thing. Yeah, the reflection is good. These are my Meta Ray-Bans. I have not been wearing them for a while. I've been using my other glasses. But we're going to start recording. In fact, I should do that now. Hey, Meta, record. So we're going to be doing some POV shorts video. So you guys can see exactly what I see through my lens. And I'm going to be really truthful. I thought the Meta Ray-Bans were going to be cool for just the POV, but I was worried about the durability of the frames because they aren't built for glass blowing, obviously. But they have held up very, very well. They're almost flawless after all this time. And they're super comfortable. These are the lightest glasses I have for glass blowing glasses. And right now you can get the Gen 1 Meta Ray-Bans, which I had. These are the Generation 1, the first gen. Super cheap. They're not expensive now. So they're a good value. I got one little section here. Okay, we got one more little section with the white we're going to blend in, and then we're going to add some clear and start turning this into a full-blown marble. So right now, you can see the yellow. See how I diluted that edge? And we took the hard-lined edge off, and we blended into it. And we're going to do the same thing on that white right now, because right there, you kind of have a hard-line edge. I want to get rid of that. Got to make sure there's no yellow left on this rod. Don't want the yellow bleeding right into the white with a little tiny spot. Let's go ahead and blend that white in. I got to let that melt in a little better. Hey, Meta, stop recording. Okay, there we go. Hey, Meta, take a picture. Click. Now I got Dragonfly Super Chat logged in here. You're memorialized, Dragonfly. Okay, last little bit. So this will be the last section, then we're going to turn it into a total marble. So we got the white, we got the blue, and we got the yellow. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that white, there's nothing added to it. So if I went to make this into a marble, it would be a little off. We would have different diameter all the way around. So I'm going to even it out with some clear. Actually, I'm going to add a little electrum in here. What the hell? This is going to look good. We're going to add just a little bit of color, give it a little punch up. Like that. So check it out. So we got these little dots on here now. Whoop, there we go. So those little dots, we're going to transform that clear into like a little bit of a shimmery silver clear. There's not enough on there to really affect it. Just give it a little tiny an enhancement. All right, we're going to bring this out. We're going to use a large flame for that because I need a little swath. I'm just going to do these little mini spirals in there. So I'm going to show you the dots halfway on and half of them spread out. This is almost turning to a tutorial, but it's not. It's not a tutorial. Okay, back at it. Here we go. So now when I bring it in, you can see how we got those little bits of color strung throughout there, little streaks running in there. And then there's the dot. So if I left it, it'd be dotted like pimples running everywhere. But we just kind of added a little bit of color in there, a little shimmer. Let's go ahead and finish it up. And then we're going to start the entire marble transformation. Now, one of the things that I don't mention often with this particular item, so this is obviously cremains from a dead dog, okay? I'm just going to flat out say it. But this also can be an anniversary piece. And what I mean by that is you can get clippings of two people's hair, and I can make it into ash by melting the hair into little bits of ash, and I can blend it into a marble like this or anything. So basically you can have you and your partner embedded in glass as an anniversary present, like a celebration of so many years of marriage or something like that, or just being together. All right, let's get this blended into the white. There we go. A little bit up here. But I do like the anniversary section. Can even be a cool wedding present. So if you know someone's getting married, you can pre-purchase, and all they have to do is submit hair samples. And then I can embed it into an anniversary or a wedding present. But please only hair off the head, nowhere else, please. I had someone send me hair from a different location. I had to send it back. Like, no, not doing those. All right, I'm just trying to get everything blended in before we start the marble process here. Oh, this is going to be this one's going to look really cool. Again, not my favorite color to work with on the yellow, but all right, so now we got the blue, the yellow, the clear, and the white. I do not like that, though. I don't like that. I need to fix that before we go too far. I don't like that. I definitely need to fix that. Oh, the shimmer's beautiful. I love shimmer. I think it looks so good. What's up, Sand Dollar? Connie, how are you? I'm getting hiccups. Gosh darn it. I got to figure out what causes hiccups. All right, that is not correcting that way. We're going to add a little bit of white on here. Get rid of that. It's not correcting right there. There we go. A little bit more clear. Much better. Okay. So now we corrected that little section right there. It's all blended in now. So last step, now we're going to attach a holding rod. We're going to actually go into the marble section. Can you guys see these molds okay? I'm trying to see from the camera. Can you see these mold areas right here? Because that's where all the action is going to start taking place. Oh, my earbud went funky. That's why. You can see it? Okay, good. What is the name of the shimmer glass? The shimmer is Electrum. That's that really super expensive stuff from Molten Aura. Before you go buying it, I could send you a rod of it if you want to try it out. I can send you a rod of it, Dragonfly. No, I'm not confident in that. I need to find a good holding rod. See, one of the things, this looks long enough, but when this gets hot, that gets a little short. I need to find, I thought I pre-cut one ahead of time. That's about the same. Oh, here we go. All right, so now we're going to take this, we're going to butt it up to the end, and we're going to start the marble process. Yeah, let me send you a rod of the electrum before you try purchasing it. Oh, that's what I'm doing right now. I could do, well, I could try gauges, but if you're really, really picky about down to the 0.5 millimeter, I wouldn't be able to do it. But if you're flexible on the size a little bit, I'd be open to trying it. But I would probably have to make the gauge ahead of time just to test it out before I added ash to it. Oh, we got a little crack going right there. That's okay. Right at the holding rod here. Yeah, before I added ash to, well, technically, if you were okay with it, if the gauge didn't work out, I'd have to make it into something else. If you're okay if it failed, I could make it into a pendant or something. I could make it into a pendant if it completely went bad. As long as you're open to that possibility. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go back to the giant flame. Warm this whole thing up. Yeah, I've been doing memorials for a very long time. I've never done gauges though in memorial. It's one of the few things I haven't done. I had someone ask me for a very explicit item that I refused to make in a memorial though. I mean, to each their own, but I wasn't going to make that. She wanted to have her dead husband's ashes put in an item that was explicit. And I said, nope, not doing that one. All right, so we got to get this kind of ooey gooey, which means we have to heat it all the way into the center core of this before I can do too much. So the center, all the way deep down inside that little chunk of glass, it's got to be heated all the way into the middle. So it's going to take a second. Now I'm not using the wide flame on this because I don't want the flame hitting the two holding rods. I don't want to melt those. I only want to melt the center in here. Nothing else. All right, we're pretty close here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start pushing this together, and all those straight lines are the straighter kind of sections. They're going to twist up. I don't want little tight spirals. I want it very loose. I just want an organic spiral. I don't want it real tight like a pinwheel. I don't want like a pinwheel. All right, we're going to kick on the big flame just a second here. Back down. I probably should have put gloves on for this one. It's been a while since I've made them, and this is already getting hot on my hands. And it's not hot on the rod itself. It's hot from the molten glass radiating the heat back and forth. All right, here we go. We're going to start that twist process now. And that's just by pushing it together. It's not a fast process. It's actually quite slow. And you can hopefully see a little bit of that spiral starting to take shape there. Like that. I don't know if you can see that spiral taking place right there. All right, we're going to work one section down here. We're going to get it kind of roundish, not all the way, but I'm going to build the basis of the marble right here. Then we're going to detach the rod at the top and work that section really close. And here we go. So I'm going to focus all on the bottom half where this rod I'm tapping right here. And I hate to say it, if you're on YouTube and you have a question, you need to probably super chat it. Doesn't have to be a lot, but I won't be able to catch it attention right now. What's up, L to the B? Wendy, how are you? Got some awesome people in here that I always love seeing. What's up, L to the B and Wendy? Good to see you. Okay, here we go. We got the spiral looking really good right now. I'm only focused on the spiral and keeping it a little bit roundish. So I'm going to push it together like that, give it a little twist, and then we're going to pull it apart a little bit. So you push it way in, then you start pulling it out a little, and that kind of balances the whole thing up. And my holding rod's starting to melt. So I won't be able to do too much more on that right now. And we'll pull it down a little. And there we go. And that's good enough for the moment. All right, now we're going to work this top section. This is where we're going to start getting it into the round. We'll start melting it all down. Okay, almost there. Okay, we're going to pull this off. Going to park it way off to the side. Now this earbud's bugging the heck out of me because it's hot. Just sweating. I'm definitely getting sweaty here. Not that you guys really needed to know that. All right, but now you can see we got that spiral running all the way around. Now we just have to clean it up and turn it into a full-blown marble. But you can see we got all the colors bouncing through there. So we'll use a large flame, grab a big gather, and I'm going to need a spare. Yeah, this will definitely work. You're doing good. Awesome. You had an amazing day. Well, I like hearing that. Is that a bigger marble? Yeah, this is it was intended to be 2.5 inches. I think we might be pushing closer to 3 by the time we're done. It might be in the 3-inch range. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but it's kind of the difference between a small apple and a softball. So like a real small Granny Smith apple and a full softball. That's about the size difference. All right, we're going to start spiraling that up. Now, this is why I don't run the ash right at the very top of these marbles. I never run it all the way at the top or the bottom because I have to pull some off. So when I was spreading the ash in there, that's why you saw me on the middle section, about the upper third and the lower third. I didn't go all the way to the tippy top or the bottom. There's Fritzy. Okay, so where are we at with this right now? So now we got a cool ass little spiral running right there. That's going to be one end of the marble. You can see we got the colors bouncing through here, really conveniently beautiful. There's our yellow, our blue. You can see the little blue streaks in there. The white with the, so that white section contains all the ash, except for the very tippy top up there. All right, for this, we're going to bust out the large wide view flame. Now we have to melt it down. Hey, Meta, record. All right, we're going to have to two-hand it. I'm definitely going to have to two-hand it here. Yep. Okay, Meta, stop recording. And notice I'm sitting way further back than I normally do in this chair. It is hot. And it's not the flame, it's the radiating heat off this glass. It's super hot. I'll have Freddy Krueger burnt fingers after this. Technically, I could wear my golfing gloves and they would work on this. Just got to be patient with this, though. You got to take it very slow. If you go too fast, you mess up that spiral. Completely throw it off center. So you spent an hour making this thing up to this point, and then you spend, 30 seconds in a rush trying to get it round, and you mess the whole thing up if you're not careful. All right, we're almost there. We're going to start using the marble mold down here. So the marble mold is made of graphite. Graphite is one of the few materials that will not stick to the glass. Oh man, that's hot. As it gets more round, the heat's kind of generating out. All right, here we go. Oop. Had a little piece of glass in there. That just threw me off a little bit, but I didn't want that in there. Hey, Meta, record. So that part right there is called the first pass. We're not trying to get it completely smooth. We're just kind of getting it into shape. It's a first pass of it. We'll reverse back and forth on these attachment rods, one side to the other, several times until I get it completely round the way I want. Now we're going to go to the smaller mold and start creating a little bit more of a roundy shape here. A baboon butt. You ever see those baboons? Yeah, looks just like that. Of course I have ventilation. I'm still breathing. I hope you have ventilation. There we go. I probably have more ventilation than anybody that I know. Oh, she is beautiful. All right, so I'm going to bring it over to the side cam. We're not close to being finished yet. Well, we kind of are, but I still have a lot of little details to work out of it. But I wanted to show you that spiral starting to come into play. Isn't that pretty? How it starts forming. There we go. So now we got that spiral running through there. Let's kick it down a notch. So the next goal is to get this section all rounded out too. So now we're getting close to the tail end of this whole thing. The only thing I have to worry about is the rod I just attached to it, the one on my left over here. I have to worry about that cracking the holding rod, not the marble, but the rod itself that keeps all the weight on it. I always worry that it's going to have a flash crack. Okay, so I'm going to show you pre-spiral and then after we get it done. So there's our pre-spiral. You can see it starting to form up. Now we'll tighten that up in just a little bit as I start melting it down. So all the color will kind of have to bring up to the center, but it's just discombobulated right now. Now, in order to achieve this, I'm going to bring it out and kind of form like an ice cream cone a little bit. I'm also looking for any air bubbles that I get. Oh, I do have one. I don't know if you're going to catch this. There is a tiny little bubble. Where is it? Let me find it. Right in the white section right here, right in the middle. There's a little tiny air bubble. Now, what does that matter? The reason that I'm concerned about the air bubble is as I start to get it round, if that air bubble still sits there when I get it into its round state up here, it can kind of pop and then it leaves a little crater in there. It just kind of gets a crater. And then you can't really get that crater out there without messing up the lines. So that is my big fear of why I don't want a little tiny bubble in there. So we're going to grab hopefully I got a little skinny rod close by. Too big. That'll work. So we got to pop that little bubble before I go any further. So if I pop it now, I don't have to worry about it later. There it is. And you just stab it, push it in, it pops the bubble out, and then pull back out. Just like that. Move out that area, we're good to go. So now we start working it in. I'll grab this longer rod if it's not too hot. And we'll bring all this down, spiral it up, bring all those colors front and center, and then we can finish the marble. So we're going to let it drip down, kind of like a hot air balloon look. That's too hot. Man, that got hot from the radiating heat. This one will work. We're going to pull that spiral down really nice. There we go. So we'll bring it over to the side. Now you can see I got that spiral really tightened up in there. Let me heat it up again. So this does contain ash from a dog in it. See how tight that spiral is? And that's why I waited all that time to kind of clean it up. Let's go ahead and start melting this in and getting it round now. Now the hard part's done. Now we just have to finesse it. Quick slam, thank you. Yeah, that's spiral. I love spirals. Spirals are like my jam. I love spirals. It's definitely my jam. All right, let's two-hand this again. So I'm using a very small flame to just kind of control that little center spiral up there that I just completed. We're going to get it very controlled, and then we'll open it up on the flame and get it a lot bigger. Oh man, one more bubble. I just spotted you. Where are you? Okay, we're good. Okay, now we just heat it up. We're going to kick on the larger flame. There we go. Now, this is the flame I was saying. If I use this all day, I would definitely eat up about 5 gallons of propane. But luckily, I don't do this flame all day long. But this flame consumes a tremendous amount of gas. Now, without this flame, I'm roughly in the 1.5 zone, 1.5 gallons a day. But if I left this going full bore, 5 gallons easy. And probably 2 welding tanks worth of oxygen. So a standard welding tank, I would go through 2 of them in a day using this bad boy. Almost there. I can start using the mold any minute now. Now, the main thing I'm not doing is pushing into that. I'm just barely using finger to spin it around. The weight of the glass is doing all the work. I don't want to push it in there and get a crevice. My holding rod's getting a little bent right there. So I got to bring it out and straighten it out. There we go. All right, here we go. We're looking really good here. Hey, Meta, record. Hey, Meta, record. And let's do one more with the POV Meta glasses so you guys can see this view when I get done. I wish it would let me live stream from these glasses. That would be the coolest thing on the planet. If I could live stream through my eyes like this, that'd be so freaking cool. All right, here we go. One more little pass through this mold. And then we're going to go to the smaller mold here. We're getting to the point where I can go ahead and do that. Yeah, we're looking. Oh, do I have a big ass bubble up there? Oh, I do. Wow. All right, I got to do a little surgery on the top. There's a big bubble right there. You can definitely see that one. I'll bring it over. You won't miss this one. That's like a "you are here" dot staring at you. Got to get rid of that. Oh, really? Come on, get off. I don't need your headache there. I call those bubbles the "you are here" dot. You know, you go to those interactive mats or maps and you see those little red dots that say "you are here." That's what it looks like to me. It's like sticks out. You are here. Did I get rid of it? Yep. Did it go? Hope so. No, there's still a tiny little nubule on there. I'm not happy about that. There's a little nubby of it. I'm going to need a little bit thicker rod here. We'll use, no, that's my other rod. There we go. The only other thing I could think of is sometimes that electron, that shimmery glass, can do what looks like a bubble, but it's not. And we're going to pull that down a little. So if this doesn't pull it out, then that it has to be the electrum. Because I know I got that out of there. And yes, I am that picky about it. Especially when it comes to a memorial, we definitely want to make sure we're good. All right, let's get it heated up and I can show you. There. Now we got our little spiral interacting in there. I think I got it this time, so we're good. So the hard part about this marble is I have not stopped since I started. What's up, Daisy girl? Groves, how are you? Charlie? So I've not started. So these marbles, once you start, you don't really want to stop. So I am 1 hour and 47 minutes into this, and I have not set my arms down. So this is where it does take a little toll on your body, a tiny bit. All right, we are just about done. I think we got a good little clean section up here. I'll bring over the side cam. I'll show you what we got. I think we're all good to go on this. And again, I blended all those colors. You can see that spiral starting to take effect right there. And it will start curving around more and more, and that color will come in. I'm just waiting for it to pop in there. All right, that side is done. We're going to repunty back up here. I'm going to make sure this side is completely round and this marble's done. So we're going to do a switcheroo. So this is where it gets scary right here. So I'm going to be putting a very, very small attachment, barely on there. Like that. So this marble is barely held on with that rod. One wrong bump and off it comes. It won't hurt the marble. But it just sucks to have to pick it back up if it falls. When they fall, it sucks to pick it back up. Because usually, like right now, if it fell, it'll fall on that hot spot, and then I got to fix the dent. But for the most part, I think I'm okay. So we're just going to clean this up. So this is a yellow, blue, and then the white contains the ash, the cremains from the dog in here. Yeah, the white part is where all the dog's ashes are. The what looks orange right now will be the bright yellow. And then cobalt's cobalt. I mean, it's blue is blue. I need a little bit more stable rod here. So I'm just trying to pull this little pinpoint off here without ruining our beautiful spiral. There we go. And then we're going to heat it up. Get it smoothed out, and this marble's done. And we're good to go. So now I'm just going to smooth out where I hit it with the mold. Even though it's smooth in there, it does leave a little bit of a drag in there. Pop it over to the side. I'll show you the spiral because this will be the last time I can. There we go. Look how beautiful that is. Is it not beautiful? This is my favorite part right here. There. Just beautiful. All right, let me visually look, make sure we don't have any issues. I do have one spot. We've got a little problem here. I'm going to walk this over dangerously. I shouldn't do this. I should have popped it in the kiln. But I need to grab this. We are... I'm just going to stand up with it. So I got to add a little borax. We've got a little bit of what's called devitrification here. So we're going to add a little borax to it and take out that devitrification. And what that is it just kind of leaves a little rough mark on there. Looks like a little flaw. And what happened is the glass got a little bit of the boron, what makes it borosilicate, burned out. We're going to go ahead and fume that borax on there and reinstitute the boron. A little bit more. But I should have grabbed more. We're almost done with it. So yeah, so what happens is it gets a little scar tissue on there, if you will. And it creates a rough spot because I burnt out some of the boron in there. And then I'm just reapplying it. Oh, come on. I just need a little bit more. There we go. Woo! There we are. And now it's all done. Okay, got it melted back in. We're all good. I reapplied the borax. That was a little scary. Then we're going to take Dragonfly Creations amazing marble holders here. And we're going to pop it off and burn off that punty. And this guy is all done. We're putting it to the max, though. So we hold it here, and then you just tap, and then that little punty comes right off. We're going to smooth it out. And bring it over, let it sit for a second before I transfer it over to the kiln. So that is done now. It looks really good. Yeah, this one's really nice. Yeah, it's starrynightglass.com. Yahoo. That one's all good to go. I'm pretty happy with it. It looks good. It's been a while since I've done the 2.5 and plus marble. It's been a little bit. Let me get some hydration here. Thank you, Ray. Mountain Dew for the win. The secret to any glass blower's success. All right, so tonight I'm going to pull this flame down a little. So tonight for the stream, I'm going to take the rose off this guy. This is that giant pen that I had made, the obnoxious pen. Nobody seemed to want the giant pen, so I'm going to tear it apart if nobody wanted to buy it. We'll tear this rose off and we'll remix it into a design. We'll build a sculpture around it. But yeah, this flower is gorgeous. Let me show you the flower up close. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Look at those colors. Those colors are gorgeous. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to not have this flower do something. So I'm probably going to take that flower, and we have a hummingbird in here that has the uranium in it. We'll take this and add it in there. So this is a much bigger hummingbird. It does have the uranium in the body, so we'll add the uranium in there, the uranium hummingbird. I can't figure out how I want to implement it, but we'll definitely do that. We just have to make it work. So I had this other idea too, where I'm going to take a short break. We're not like leaving yet. So I had this idea. I found this tubing, and I realized that the big pens. So the big pens I've been using, where's my side view? There it is. So they have this little grommet here. Now, normally when I do the pen, it's this right here. I only use this section. Okay. But I discovered that I have a size tubing that it fits pretty damn good. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit. We're going to be able to add the plastic insert for the pen, and I'm going to make just these really cool basic pens. We'll put a little design on the back of it and have a functional little inexpensive pen that's glass. I'm going to try a little bit right now. But yeah, normally they have this insert like that. So there's the pen without that big chunky section. I love this pen. I'm surprised no one bought this. I don't mind keeping it. This pen is freaking awesome. Look at that. Remember we did the candy apple? That pen is amazing. And then there's the gold nugget on it, the golden color to it. So let's go ahead and make one of these pens. I want to try it out. And what I was thinking of doing is making a little alien buddy, like this guy. Making one of these and parking it on the end of the pen, a little bit smaller. And then we'll leave a hook on it, and the pen can actually hang if you want to hang it. So let's go ahead and make one of those pens. We're going to prototype it. Before I go too far, we're going to take the end here because I do cut them. You can see it's very jagged right there. So first thing I have to do is kind of notch it down and polish that end. So we're just going to notch it down a little bit. Now, why do I do the part that goes where the ink goes in first before I do the other end? Because this does have a potential for cracking when I do this. So I would hate to make a full pen and then not be able to go to do the insert section, and then it's not working, it cracks. So we're just polishing that out right now. I can bring it back to the side. So now you can see we're all smoothed out right there. So I'm going to do a couple of those. And what gave me the idea was my donut straw. So the donut straw that we have, oops, wrong view. So the donut straw, the pen actually fit accident. I don't know how it got in there, but it got in here and it got stuck. And I was like, wow, they actually fit like that. So now you got a now that's an obnoxious donut pen, but yeah, it fits perfect. I don't know if someone came in and put it in there or what, but it was like a perfect fit. I was like, hey, might as well try it. All right, we're going to trim one more and then we'll start making the alien buddy to put on the end of it. And I'm hoping that we can produce these pens pretty cheap and get a really nice nice item that's very affordable. Okay, this is why. It just happened. All right, I'm going to bring it up. It just cracked on me. So I'm going to have to hold my hand over it. Can you see that crack right there? See that crack? It just cracked on me. And that's why I do the little trimming first. So that one's garbage. So I'm going to trim these out first ahead of time, and then I can do the back end. Main thing is I don't want to melt it all the way in. I just want to smooth it out. So now that's all smoothed out. We have no cracking on it. It's very blended. All right, let's make a little alien. Do I have any cool colors hanging out here? I'm trying to see if I have any spare color that I would like to use with it. I really don't want to do yellow. No yellow. All right, let's make it, we'll do some blue. Actually, we'll do blue. It'll be good. We'll make the little alien in blue. Give it some accents, maybe with white or something. We'll attach it to the end of the pen and just check it out. See how it looks. So the stream tonight will be doing the uranium glass, and we'll be doing a remix. So we're going to use some uranium glass from the 1940s. And we're going to blend it into the stuff we're doing tonight, especially with the remix. I don't want to make the alien gigantic because I don't want to make the pen obnoxious. Okay, so we're going to make a miniature alien. And there we go. Going to add that little hook down. Blend it in. So here's our body for the alien. Just a little cobalt body. And we'll stay close up view. Let's go ahead and add a little arms on here. There we got the little arms on there. They always crack me up. Do I happen to have a spare random color out here? Maybe a little amber purple. Oh no, I have this one. It's a darker color, but it's a really shimmery dark color. So we'll use this guy. I need a little punchy rod here. So I hate working micro sometimes. There's always a happy medium. The only reason I don't like micro so much is because, well, I can't see anymore. I got freaking old. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the little feet on. Just putting two little micro feet on here. Are we up close? Yeah, we got a close up view. That's good. Then we got to put a little tail. Actually, I'm going to give it a little tail this time. Then we just need to make an eyeball. Actually, let me bring it over. So there it is before we get the eyeball. Now the feet are very dark. But when you add light to it, look how sparkly those guys are. That's what I was saying with that color. It's really sparkly. It has that shimmer to it. But before we do that, I'm going to change it up. We're going to fume it with silver. We're going to pop silver on it. We're going to give it some iridescence. Actually, I got the borax out here. We'll do gold. I got a gold rod in there. We're going to make him gold. Golden blue. And then I'll add the eyeball after I get the fuming on there. All right, let's go ahead and put the gold on. I'll fume it with the borax after, and then we'll add the eyeball. So remember that was a really bright cobalt. We're going to add our gold on here. Let me find it. There's my little nugget. Did the nugget come off? Nope, there it is. So right now we're vaporizing pure gold onto it. And it's going to give it this little golden sheen. Then we're going to add borax to it and really give it some kick. So let's bring it over to the side view. You can see a little shimmer, but if we add the light source to it, there, now he's got some character. We're going to add the borax on and give it some more character. So we'll bring it out here. We'll add our little borax concoction. Well, it doesn't shoot at me. So the borax laundry soap actually enhances the gold. And there we go. Oh my God, it looks good. It totally changed the color. Look at that guy. So now he's got some funky color to him. And then let's go ahead and add the eyeball now. I got to make sure I got black too. Yep. So I wanted to add the gold before I added the eyeball. Get it melted in there. Sorry, I'm laughing at it because it's hilarious. Give him a little single mouth right there, just a little tiny one. Oh my God, it's cool. So he's got the little single eyeball now. There we go. So he's got that iridized look to it. It's really funky looking. We're going to go ahead and pop a little holding rod on there and attach it to the pen now. Don't fall. It's barely on there. So with that little hook on there, the pen will actually hang. So if you wanted to wear the pen as like a necklace or hang it somewhere, it's very doable. Let's grab our pre-done insert here. It's all smoothed out. Let's get it fused on and see how it looks. Oh my God, that's going to be so cool. I'm probably going to make one of these for myself. Not my first choice of colors, but the enhanced gold version looks kind of cool. And there we go. So now we got the little alien guy hanging on the pen, and it's just a clear crystal pen. And then the insert will fit right in there. I don't want to put it in or I'll melt the pen. Well, we'll test it. Yep. That works. Yeah, there we go. Little funky pen. I like it. That was a fun little test run. Okay, so tonight we're doing the remix. Let me turn this down. So tonight we're going to do the remix. I'm definitely going to pop this flower in the kiln before I get done. Oh, I can definitely make several of them, Daisy Girl. We can do them in all colors. So we're going to take this flower off the pen. We'll build a sculpture for it. I got the hummingbird with the uranium in there. One more shot at this flower because I think this flower is amazing looking. I love the iridized look of this flower. It kind of has jewel tones to it. So this is the cobalt glass with the silver fuming on top of it and the borax. So we're going to take that off and we're going to go ahead and pop it in on a sculpture tonight. We'll do a remix. We'll add some uranium glass. In fact, I'll pop it in there now. Move that marble off to the side. There we go. We'll go ahead and drop that in there and get it ready for the stream tonight. And that should be good to go. Yeah, we'll be able to tear that flower off easy. That flower is going to be easy to take off. So I'm not worried about that. All right, let me go ahead and, let me take a break. We've been 2 hours in, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and then 6 o'clock. So about 45 minutes or so, I'll be back with a full-blown stream. We'll get it all done. 104 is soft glass. All right, so I'll see you all in just a little bit.